The Eurozone has been dealt a fresh blow as Ireland's debt is downgraded to junk status by Moody's credit rating agency. It's fueling concerns the country could need a second bailout. This comes a week after Portugal's rating was also reduced and follows speculation that Italy too might be soon asking for a helping hand. To discuss the latest developments and what they might mean for the EU, we're now joined by Paul Nuttall, MEP for North West England, live for us in Brussels. Good to see you. So last week we heard that Portugal might need a new rescue package. Greece already had one. Ireland is predicted to be next. Do the bailouts work at all? They haven't saved these crippled economies. And where is all the money going?
Well, the fact is what the bailouts are doing is they're throwing good money after bad. This project was never going to work. People like me said this 10 years ago, that this was always about politics. It was not about economics. The idea that you could have economies in the Mediterranean in line with economies like Germany, fast-growing economies like Germany, was never going to work. The only way to get out of this mess is for those countries to go back onto their national currencies, to devalue, to get growth moving, and to get exports going. And at the moment, they can't reduce their debt because their currencies are controlled by Frankfurt, they're controlled by the European Central Bank, they're not controlled by Athens or Lisbon or even Dublin.
Now, with billions of euros being thrown around here, some are saying that we're seeing high-level cronyism, corruption and fraudulent theft in broad daylight. Are the people powerless to do anything about it?
Well, we see the people out on the streets in Athens, and I just wonder how long it will be before the people are out in the streets in Rome and in Lisbon and in Dublin. This thing is contagious. This thing will move right across the continent, specifically in the Mediterranean. And the big issue now facing the European Union is Italy. I mean, Italy is the third largest economy in the Eurozone. It's the eighth largest economy in the world. I think the Eurozone can actually cope with Greece and Portugal. They're smaller economies, but if Italy goes, the whole thing could cave in, because if Italy goes, Italy's economy is intertwined with Spain's, and if Spain and Italy go, then we are in serious trouble.
So Italy is a major player when it comes to the Eurozone neighbourhood. But how long will it be before the bigger economies like Germany just say no more? They're no longer willing to bail out countries like Greece and Ireland. I mean, is there a limit to their patience? Wouldn't it just be easier to expel the debtors from the Eurozone?
Well, I expect that the German people are fed up with it. I'm not sure whether the establishment are. There will be a meeting which takes place on Friday where they will discuss something called a Big Bang project or a Big Bang idea. And what the idea that they will put forward is full fiscal union. The people, the mandarins in Brussels, don't see this crisis as a bad thing. What they see it as is an opportunity to create a United States of Europe. And that's what they will push forward on Friday. And what that will do, it will give Germany greater control over the economies of the Mediterranean. In fact, I will go as far to say that Germany will have more power over Europe than it's ever had.
That's a very interesting perspective you offer there. Moody's credit rating agency has recently come under attack from European officials who called for rating agencies' power to be curbed. How much, if at all, are they to blame for the financial troubles of Europe's debt-stricken countries, do you think?
Well, I just think that it's dangerous for the European Union to criticise the credit rating agencies, and what it does is it shows desperation. The fact of the matter is that these credit rating agencies are independent. What the European Union, what the European Commission is suggesting that they do is create their own credit rating agency, which will just pump out propaganda. I mean, this is a kind of dictatorship. This is madness. The credit rating agencies aren't to blame. The fact is that these countries are in a Eurozone, they're stuck in a prison, and they can't control their own currencies. They desperately need to devalue, and the only way to do that is for them to go back onto their national currencies.
All right, so to get back on your national currencies, as you were saying moments ago, that Italy is a major player in the Eurozone neighbourhood. If Italy goes, it could collapse the whole Eurozone. But despite all the measures taken, it seems now that new predictions emerge every day of another EU country needing rescue. I mean, what does that say to you about the economic stability and of course, the future of the whole Union?
Well, of course, the euro is linked inextricably to the whole project, and it's linked to the European Union. If the Eurozone goes, I quite frankly can see this whole thing breaking up. But that is why they're so desperate to keep it. That's why they're so desperate to save it, because this was never about economics. This was a project, and people in my country are fed up paying. You know, the cuts in my country, which are putting people out of work, amount to around 12.5 billion. The amount we're handing out in bailouts also equals 12.5 billion. It's taken with the right hand and given out with the left. This is completely wrong. We in the UK are fed up with bailouts, and the only way for these countries to survive is to break out of this prison, which is the Eurozone.
Paul Nuttall, MEP from North West England. Thank you very much.
Thank you.